Hello. Would like to thank the Minister for his video message. And I'm Stella Livadi. I'm the Sports Management Program Coordinator and an Assistant Professor. I'm also the Fellow of the Leisure Area in the Center of Excellence of Food, Tourism and Leisure. I would like to remind you not to forget our hashtag, which is Frontrunners 2022. And also, if you would like to pose any questions, you can do that in the live streaming underneath each speaker. Before I present Dr. Krystallis, the director of the Center of Food, Tourism and Leisure, let me tell you that the event is participating in the April 6th campaign, which is also known as the White Card campaign, which is devoted to sport development and peace. So you will see that in your seats you have this white card, and we would like you to go ahead and check the website of the Peace and Sport Organization so that you see this initiative and what it entails. And we would like you at least around the April 6th date to remember that and watch all the initiatives around the world that are dedicated to this. So, Dr. Krystallis, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a really great opportunity to discuss, describe, share with you our initiative behind the so-called Center of Excellence in Food, Tourism and Leisure. First, I would like to start with saying a few things about, let's say, the wider initiative that has been started a few years ago, called ACG 150, that is the parent, let's say, initiative behind the creation of centers of excellence in our place, in our establishment, one of which is the Center of Excellence in Food, Tourism and Leisure. So there is a website, first of all, that describes everything about ACG 150. We call it 150 to celebrate. Actually, it's a symbolic number. In 3 years from today, 2025, we celebrate 150 years of existence of the American College of Greece. So the term ACG 150 is indicative of the ambitions that we have in actually improving, enhancing, lifting the quality of education services that we offer by including a new dimension to our services, namely research. So the 150 initiative in reality is a strategic plan that aims to boost excellence. And the term excellence actually in a university environment like ours can mean different things that all boil down to the word research. Research is something that we didn't do much in our place, in our community, in our university for a number of years now. So the real aim behind the 150 initiative, as well as the existence of the Centers of Excellence, is to help, facilitate, promote research in our community by mobilizing human capital, by investing resources, and generally helping all members of our community, including students, to actually engage themselves in research. So the Center of Excellence in Food, Tourism and Leisure is the vehicle for conducting research and other activities of scholar excellence as far as sports is concerned. I am in the position to say that we try to change the title, Stella, to replacing leisure with sports, acknowledging the great contribution of your team. So turn it into a Center of Excellence in Food, Tourism and Sports, so to make sports actually much more vivid and visible in the center. So starting with the overview of the center, the idea started actually 2 years back, and the existence, the inauguration of the center has took place 6 months ago, so we are fairly new, the new kid in the block. We still do our baby steps. It was a very good idea actually to bridge those 3 areas: food, tourism / leisure, and sports, because all 3 things actually have something to do with our lifestyle, if you like, as individuals. All 3 areas touch upon great issues of social concern, for example, healthy diet, outdoor activities and recreation. Obviously, business-related dimensions are strong industries for our economy that contribute greatly to our GDP. And the fact that here today we talk about sports tourism is indicative of the complementarities that can be created among those or along those 3 areas. What we try to do actually is, as I said before, promote excellence in teaching by doing research, because we need to know that there's no the former without the latter. We cannot teach at an excellent level without having research data, research evidence, research experience, and bring that research experience into the classroom. So by combining teaching and research, we can also address huge topics of concern for the society, for the industry, and accordingly create collaborative networks by comprising scholars, student scholars like you, academic staff in this place, other places like ours, other universities, as well as the entire industry in the sectors of food, tourism, and sports in this country, as well as beyond. So our mission is actually to create high quality scientific output. Becoming scientists means teaching and doing research together. Again, there's no the one without the other. And our vision is to become a catalyst. I know it's a big word, but typically visions include big words like this, and we need to actually think high if we want things to happen. So we want to become a catalyst across those 3 areas as far as scientific innovation is concerned, so to be able to actually make impact, because that is the key word behind everything we do. We try to do impact, to create impact, to invest resources, to mobilize human capital in order to produce scientific outcome that will be helpful, would be valuable. That's the right word, since we also talk about sports marketing, for instance. We need to create value, deliver value, and we create value here in this place by doing research and deliver value to different audiences. Again, the society at large, as well as the industry, the sports industry, the tourism industry, and all stakeholders related, including politicians or other types of regulators. Since typically research comes first, or ideally should come first, before any new regulation actually gets in place. The Center of Excellence is a real thing in the sense of that we have a governance model. There's people actually behind this center. There's members from across the 3 areas: food, tourism, and sports. And there's advisors. For example, the Active Media Group are proud having them as our advisors in our advisory board, together with other stakeholders from the industry as well as from the academic community. And good news is that now we also have the possibility to accommodate students, having students as active members of the Center of Excellence. We call them student scholars, and I will explain in a while what that is and why we think this is really a revolutionary idea as far as your engagement into scientific excellence is concerned. You, I mean students, right? In sense we have, I suppose, many students in the audience. I'll give you a brief overview of different types of activities, research activities that we undertake. Again, we know that the term research is not very common around here, and not many people in the community are familiar. Of course, we all know what research means, right? I mean, investigating something by collecting insights, information, empirical evidence to prove that something holds or doesn't hold. Generally explore a phenomenon. We do that by conducting research, but let's say what sort of research we talk about here. So first, there is in Europe a huge system in place from Brussels that gives huge amounts of money into research, prestigious, high-quality academic research. You may have heard of the term Horizon 2020 before. This is the most prestigious research scheme initiated by Brussels. So places like ours, as well as other universities all over Europe, are eligible to receive money to conduct research. So we actually submit proposals. Our center and your professors, your instructors, join into consortia of other universities and companies from all over Europe to submit proposals that, once evaluated successfully, can attract serious amounts of money to our place. And this money is then invested in development, developing your skills, developing our skills, and obviously giving salaries for services that we can get, including hiring students, for example, on some sort of contractual basis, so that you can become, for instance, research assistants. That's a term that is greatly used, widely used in all over European universities like ours. So here is from the food area. Unfortunately, I have many examples from the food area because this is my area, and this is something I can understand. I'm a marketeer, I'm a food marketeer actually, so it's obvious that I have some examples mostly from the food area. This does not mean that all other areas in the center, namely food, tourism, and sports, are equally active in undertaking initiatives like this. So this is about sustainability. It's a call, it's a proposal we delivered for €500,000. Imagine we can get €500,000 from Brussels, and 25% of that money will stay here for development, for example, sending students to conferences, high prestigious conferences all over the world, helping students collecting data, helping students as well as staff writing papers, academic papers, published papers, or designing and conducting projects that may have great interest for practitioners, for the industry. So this is about sustainability. We call it circular economy. It's something that you may have heard of as a term. By 2050, we will be 10 billion people living on the planet, meaning that we may probably need to say bye-bye to our favorite animal proteins. In simple terms, there will be no meat for human consumption, and the reason for that is that Earth is too small to feed 10 billion people. Okay, so we're not going to have enough land to grow animal feed, zootrophes in Greek. So in lack of animal feed, there will be not enough animal protein for human consumption, meaning that we already investigate, the European community, United States, all the developed countries in the world and beyond, invest billions of dollars or euros in developing alternative proteins. And one type of proteins we can develop, we can think of, is insect proteins. Imagine us eating insects as a daily menu. It sounds like scary to most of you, and I know because we have run a survey among the Greek public, and we know that most people in this country say, don't mess around with my food, and even more so when it comes to meat. Okay, we're not meat lovers compared to North European countries, but still, we learned how to eat meat, how to love meat It hasn't been like that 50, 60 years ago. Nevertheless, this project is about how to develop alternative proteins and how to convince people all over Europe actually to give it a try. I will not say that you should immediately change your diet into insect-based one, but okay, let's give it a try. Let's see, is there any potential? So this is going to be 500,000 if we get it, 500,000 for this center of excellence we're talking about. And similar projects, another 300,000 euros, similar idea, another type of proposals called Prima. These proposals involve countries from all over the Mediterranean Sea. So we collaborate with Middle East countries, North African countries, so there's a huge cultural component also in that type of projects, which makes them really exciting, since we need to learn how to deal with foreign cultures, communicate daily with people like ours from areas that seem so far away compared to the realities we have in Europe. Of course, we publish, and that's something we want to do with our students as much as we can. So that we have academic output from these proposals, these projects. For instance, this is one from your professors, Doctors Livadi and Jumaka, on sport event destination image effect, on the way sport tourists actually behave. So that's an excellent example of academic research that is fully relevant for our center, as well as for the things you learn in the relevant study programs. We can also do small-scale projects that are relevant to us, things that we like, together with you, things that you like maybe, that we all like. That's again about alternative proteins and celebrities eating tarantulas and other insects. So it's not only like things we try at the large scale, but also things we try around here. So it's been launched. It's a survey we launched within our community, collecting data from our students. And we're going to also do that with real consumers soon. So we have a kind of first impression of what the potential of alternative proteins is. This is research. That's what we mean research. So if we know that, obviously we can take some of those findings into the classroom and use these findings to actually explain, for example, consumer behavior, explain marketing, explain management, explain new product development. There's key concepts that we teach that we can support with the collection of empirical findings. We can also run surveys that have a wider social impact. For example, one on healthy diets of the Greeks. What is that your generation or my generation mean by the term healthy diet? Is there any generation gap? Is there any change? Those 30, 40 years that actually separate my generation from yours. So maybe I exaggerated, not that much. I mean, maybe 20 years, sorry. Or things about higher education in Greece. At ACG, we have in the education system from babies up to executives, as far as ALBA, for example, is concerned. We are the right institution in this country, probably the only one that is so well suited, so eligible in running a yearly survey about education needs of our families, ourselves, our parents, our children, yours, your generation. We also have a website that is an kind of interim website. It's not final yet, but we have a website that you can visit, and we have different news and events from all over the 3 areas of the center. For example, this is about how our center, together with Active Media Group, initiated the first sports tourism research carried out in Epirus, Peloponnese, and central Greece, covering events like Zagori mountain running or Navarino Challenge. So we can become visible, and we can hit the media, so to speak, and we can make impact, and we can promote our efforts and the investment that we make in human capital as well as in money, because there's money behind those things. There's money that we can invest, money that comes from within our community and that we make available for investigating different initiatives of research nature. And this is a European grant that we just received last Friday. It's an excellent opportunity that we have that. This is, again, from the food area. It's European money, right? It's exactly as I just described. We submitted a proposal like a month ago, a couple of people in the group, and we asked for X amount of money, and we actually describe our ideas, and Brussels said, hey, these guys have a very nice idea. Let's give them some money. Let's trust them. So by getting a grant of that type, we enter into a huge network, powerful network, Brussels-based network called European Institute of Innovation Technology, EIT. And these guys are kind of lobbyists, and they have millions of euros waiting for people like us, all of us, I mean, to come and get it. Okay, and we do that by proposing research. We don't do that by just teaching. I can spend like my entire life teaching in the classroom. Anything of that kind will never happen. Unless I say, okay, maybe I should start thinking differently and start initiating collaborative projects of that kind. And this is actually about how to engage consumers in developing new packaging material, more sustainable packaging material for food, for different food types, especially for takeaway food, liquid, hot food that can be very, very difficult to distribute through different electronic platforms, for example. So one of the major lessons learned for the food industry from the COVID and the lockdown situation was that we're actually lacking really revolutionary food packaging technologies that would allow efficient delivery of food from point A to point B. So, as I said just a few slides back, now we are open, our doors are open to actually accommodate students, those students who feel motivated enough to give it a try into the research world. We call these students scholars, and we have actually 4 types. Candidate scholars, those who are going to engage themselves for a first time with a research project. For instance, the project I mentioned just before, we are thinking of hiring actually 1 or 2 students. And by hiring, I mean paying students for working with us in the frame of the project. So you're gonna get experience working together with us on a real project. You will have the opportunity to meet people who do similar things like you, and probably also get some money. It's obviously just symbolic, right? I mean, you don't expect like €1 million or anything, but it's definitely something to also show how much we merit, how much we appreciate your work and your time. So candidate scholars or scholars in case you engage to more than just 1 project, up to senior scholars, even visiting scholars for people who graduated or students in other places. We can also do that. We can also accommodate students from public universities or other universities and actually have them as official visiting scholars in our place, give them an email, for example, SEG email, access to library, access to our facilities, and so on and so forth. Why this is important, why it is important that students and professors come together as far as research is concerned. It is important first because it's a great opportunity for developing personal skills, hard skills and soft skills that are greatly required by the marketplace, by the labor markets. Then it's an opportunity to follow your dreams, your aspirations. Maybe there is something that you care about as citizens, as individuals, for example, sustainability, climate, the environment, a healthy diet, any type of idea that has something to do with ethics or responsibility. These are all things we can investigate together in the frame of a small scale research project, for example. Experience in project design, implementation, and management. Experience in working in a team under real-life conditions. A real project with real collaborators from different parts of the world. The project I showed you before on food packaging materials, we work together with people from Poland, Italy, Estonia, and Bulgaria. And we also have people from Brussels and Spain as administrators. So there's a group of international people, all of the same age, more or less, with the same experiences, sharing the same concerns. There's also visibility. Student scholars appear on the website. Student scholars have an identity. They have an institutional title. And that's extremely positive, extremely good for your CVs. These qualifications count extremely much as far as job markets, labor markets is concerned. And I leave for last also the possibility for some income generation. Again, it's something we have in mind. It hasn't happened so far, to my knowledge at least. I don't know if anybody else has a different experience with our community, but we hope that we will be the first to actually hire students on a typical legal basis, like with a contract. And we have some students already. Is it time? We have some students already, mostly from the food area, but also from your area, from tourism, where it's work in progress. So my plan is I collect all these guys, I gather them together, some of them together one day, and have a first meeting. So we discuss together what is that they want to do, how is that they understand, they perceive the term research, et cetera, et cetera. So it's something that happens, it's concrete, it has started, and I think it's a great opportunity for a major cultural change within our community. That was all. Thank you very much for your invitation once again and your time. I hope I didn't exaggerate with how attractive this center is for students, but I'm happy to discuss if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Krystallis. Let me tell you, when we were in this room 4 years ago, actually it was upside down. We were like looking, you know, the stage was that way, and we had Mr. Papaloukas, and everybody knows Papaloukas, I guess, okay? And our Olympian, Evi Moraitidou, among others. I was, I never expected that 4 years later we will be presenting the Center of Excellence in Food, Tourism and Leisure. So that shows that there are great strides that have happened 4 years now. And actually in that student scholars area, we were anticipating this. The project that Dr. Jumaka and I will present late afternoon around 4, I think, okay? We have engaged students, not with salary, but at least, their expenses were paid and they are putting it now on their CVs and they have this experience under their belt, and hopefully that will, help them in the future in the market or in the academia, going on into graduate studies, etc. So it seems that it is gradually growing within this student community, that this is something that they should be engaged in. And actually, and I will finish here, I'm not sure if there are any questions from the audience, but I don't see anything on the live streaming. Most of the business school programs now, they have a dissertation module which requires primary research on the part, of the students. They have to take the initiative, but of course there is supervising from their professors. So that's also a step into the right direction in conjunction with what the Center of Excellence is doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so any questions for Dr. Krystallis? I think he hasn't left anything out, and maybe that's why there aren't any questions.
There's more I can say if you like.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. And, we hope that there will be more students interested in participating in the activities of the center, and there will be a real competition about that in the future. Oh, is there something there? A question? Okay. What is the future of sports within the environment of the ACG, Mr. Arlakis? What do you mean? You know, you are here, please explain. What do you mean about that?
Maybe you mean my cousin.
Your cousin, whatever. You know, the family is here. So what do you mean, Mr. Nikos Ralakis? Sport in terms of sports management, sport in terms of the sport teams that you know the Office of Athletics is having, or?
My question was a bit general.
Okay.
What I meant is in terms of facilities and other updates or plans that you have for the future of sports in your university, in your college.
Okay. Should I answer?
Sure.
Okay. Well, for those of you that are part of this community, you know that we have, you know, excellent facilities. You probably don't know or you don't remember that these facilities were developed further because the USA team, back in the Athens 2004 games, chose these facilities for their training center. Training center that was, of course, before the Olympic Village and the training facilities, let's say the official Olympic Games training facilities opened. And this institution, you know, has been developing since then. Even the dorms that they host the study abroad students, they were developed back then because the American athletes had to stay somewhere before they entered the Olympic Village. So, and we actually have a corner that you can visit, you know, take a picture at the student lounge on top of the Deree gym. So in terms of the, you know, the Office of Athletics has a number of teams, including men's and women's teams, including soccer, basketball, volleyball, even fencing. No, I'm sorry, not fencing, archery. But then we also have the sports management program. Okay, the sports management program is still a baby program. Our first graduates were graduated with the major in 2018, and you know, it's being developed. And one of the ways that we found that this can be done is through this event. You know, so people from the inside the community and outside the community, what's the program all about, what it can do, and how the students will be developed within it. I hope I answered the question. Okay, let me check if there is any more. So thank you, Dr. Krystallis.
Thank you.
And we are moving on.